The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Kaufman Outdoors and The Porch in Wildwood.
Well, howdy. Good morning to you. Welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. Happy Monday. Did you get any sleep? Holy cow, we are all commenting on how loud the storms were overnight. When did they start at your house, by the way? Zach, my director, and I were talking. He said in Illinois, he thought it was around 8-ish, maybe 8:30 for us, maybe about an hour or so later. But the lightning, the thunder, it was one of the loudest storms I've heard in a long time. What about you? I hope you don't have any damage. I do know one area in Maryland Heights that had some, and we'll talk about that at the top of the news. We'll also update you on Lala. If you're going to the BMW Championship, which kicks off tomorrow, we'll get you through all of that coming up in the news you can use. And then we get into our Menopause Monday, our medical talk, our health talk. Today, everywhere we go, every commercial I see, if I'm scrolling on social media, all I see is GLP-1s, GLP-1s. What do we have? What's been around for years? What's coming out? If you're injecting, if it's an oral pill, everyone's talking about it, right? You probably might be on it, or you know family and friends, or you're thinking about it. But what do you need to do when you're on them? That is the most important thing. We're going to talk with Jenny Gabriel. She's back with us from JG Optimal Wellness, and she will break it all down. We're going to talk a lot about protein. Trust me on that. And then all the other things you need to know about your body chemistry to make it work for you. All of that coming up in the next hour. Let's kick things off, though. We talked a little bit about the weather. We'll get it broken down a little bit more with our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore.
Good evening and welcome into this new More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beck Moore.
And that What the Weather segment brought to you by our friends at Fenton Family Dentistry. Again, we are so thrilled to have them as a part of our sponsorship on the Real Monica Adams Show. They're located at 552 Old Miser Mill Road in Fenton. Discovering your beautiful smile at Fenton Family Dentistry on social media or on the website fentonfamilydentistry.com. Again, if you haven't been in yet, you're truly missing out on an incredible, first of all, physician in Dr. Jessica, then the entire team that they have established there to take care of you. Really that extra step, and it's just beautiful when you walk in. Look, they have Monica Blue chairs. They have a dog we've been talking about as well that is there for you. He is the director of Smiles, and on that door, by the way, are all the satisfied customers, and I think they're running out of space because every single person that's been there has just been happy, which includes myself. I've been in. I'm waiting for, hopefully in the next few days, to get that guard that I'm going to be wearing at night. I woke up this morning and sure enough could feel I was grinding my teeth overnight. If that's something that you're doing, don't continue to let that happen. Beckett's been in as well. We've all had a really incredible experience. So thank you again to Fenton Family Dentistry. All right, let's talk with our dear friend Beckett as he has one final day before he goes back to school. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. How was your weekend?
It was okay. I didn't get any sleep last night, though. That was a crazy storm, was it not?
Yes, it was. We had those come in, really form over the late afternoon and into the evening, and actually a couple of them got severe thunderstorm warnings brought mainly because of some pretty strong winds and small hail throughout the area.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell about one area that actually had a first alarm fire because of a lightning strike, which was crazy. So we'll discuss that. Okay, so what are you going to do with your final 24 hours before you go back to school?
I'm probably gonna get my last few things ready, get my backpack ready, and just relax and take in the last day, and get ready.
Absolutely. Getting that all ready, the backpack, the clothes, just mind
Yes,
focused on junior year, right?
absolutely, yes.
I was making him a senior for a while there. All right. Well, we're hoping that that is all out of the way, the rocking and rolling, the lightning, the thunderstorms, etc. We also are hoping that our 100+ degree weather is out of the way, but I'm not the one that's going to tell you. Beckett, take it away for us.
Yeah, so today's actually not going to be too bad. As you can see, only 73 degrees out there right now. Partly cloudy skies across the St. Louis area. So kind of a mix of clouds and sunshine. It really does depend where you are in the area. 71 degrees is our dew point right now, and our sunset will be around 7:50 tonight. 83 degrees is our high for today, so that is below average. Thankfully, mostly sunny skies, so most of that cloud cover will get out of the way by this afternoon. As we head into this evening, 67 degrees overnight for our low temperature, 87 degrees tomorrow, sunny skies as we head into Wednesday, 85. We do have a chance of rain on Wednesday, and that will continue into Thursday as well, mainly looking at some showers and thunderstorms throughout Wednesday, and then throughout Thursday morning and early afternoon. As we head into Friday towards the weekend, 83 degrees, mostly sunny skies, and then looking like a pretty nice weekend, 85 on Saturday, 83 on Sunday, and keeping with those pretty sunny, nice skies.
Oh, I like that. And then the lows in the upper 60s looks gorgeous,
Yes.
by the way. I like it, Becca. You're delivering up a good one for us.
Yes, it looks very nice.
All right. Well, have a great time. Can't wait to talk to you on Friday to see how your first few days of school have gone.
Thank you. See you then.
All right, folks, that's Beckett Moore, our aspiring meteorologist. And yep, I saw some people saying happy last day back before school. Again, you can always thank him for providing that forecast for us. So I mentioned that some of you might be waking up. Maybe you've got debris in the yard you're going to have to clean up. Kind of hard to see with it being dark for our early morning risers that are already heading off to work. But I know one in particular area in Maryland Heights, actually on Quality Lane, they had this. They had a lightning strike a tree, and that prompted a first alarm fire that the Maryland Heights Police Department responded to. So it's always kind of crazy what can happen with those storms. That is one area. If you know of anyone else that had any damage, please drop it in and let us know, because like I said, these are all kind of developing with those storms that happened in the overnight hours and into the early morning. So we could be seeing more of this. One area that we do know is more of our northern area, not affected by the storms, but affected by a boil order. So look at these areas, and if you have family or friends in these areas, or if you are, just a heads up, there is a St. Louis boil water advisory. So we're talking about North City, again, Hamilton Heights, Kingsway West, the Wells Goodfellow area, Penrose, Walnut Park West, and East. Storm-related power outage at the Chain of Rocks water treatment plant are causing low water pressure across parts of St. Louis City, prompting a precautionary boil water advisory for several neighborhoods. The Water Division said it has not decided any any contamination, but issued the advisory as a precautionary, and the Water Division said updates will be provided as they become available. So some interesting things in our immediate area from the storms. Now, a tropical storm is what Lala is. It was downgraded. We were talking about this on Friday. Lala downgraded to a tropical storm, but damaging winds and heavy rain to persist across Hawaii. As I mentioned, some of your family and friends might be there as they're wrapping up their final family vacations before the kiddos go back to school. The outer bands of Tropical Storm Lala still lashing most of the Hawaiian Islands with damaging winds and heavy rains as it tracked westward just south of the state. The center of the forecast to pass south of Kauai County and move south of the easternmost northwestern Hawaiian Islands sometime early this week. The tropical storm warning is in effect for Oahu, Maui County, and Kauai County. Localized flood alerts, high surf advisory also remaining in effect. So again, we'll continue to keep an eye on that and bring you any of the latest news. Well, anytime there is a recall, whether it's for our food or for our cars, we pass those along. This time it has to do with the ladders. So as some of you might be doing work around your house, just know these are being recalled. More than 1 million attic ladders sold at Home Depot recalled after injuries have already been reported, and reports of falls as well. More than 1 million stairway ladders, including those sold at home improvement stores like our Home Depot and our Lowe's, being recalled, which are Louisville Ladder Incorporated recalled these ladders sold under Louisville, Featherlight, Light, and Century brand names. They are aluminum or wood frame ladders with gas struts that come with handrails and fold into the attic. The problem, again, the bolts could break, causing someone to get hurt or even fall, and we do know that some people have. They were sold between November of 2012 and July of this year by Home Depot, Lowe's, Do It Best, as well as Amazon and other retailers. They sold between $170 and $600. If you have one, stop using it immediately. You can go to a website that I'm going to drop in for you to get a free repair kit. Again, immediately stop using them because we don't want anything to happen to you. As I mentioned, we have had falls and we have had injuries. I'm going to actually put the article from KMOV on here for you. It looks like the link that particular article provided may be broken, so I'm not going to send that link to you, but we'll send you the article where this is coming from, just so you have more information. All right, so you send your kids off to school, right? And you hope that they have a wonderful time. We know our dear friend Michelle, who was part of my show for about a year and a half, she sent her son off to college for the first year just a few days ago. You hope that your kids don't have these kind of conditions that they would be living in. There are students reporting unlivable conditions at an off-campus apartment near a major university in South Carolina. Families reported cockroaches. I mean, look at some of these pictures. Feces on the floor, broken locks, mold inside of an apartment complex known for student living. This is at University of South Carolina, and they were moving in on Friday. Some of the parents surprised by the sight of the newly leased apartment. They said they walked up to garbage on the porch. Nothing had been swept. The upstairs smelled like somebody died. Smells like death up there, they said. My daughter had brought her stuff in. We took it out. They will not live there, they said. Some of the families are looking for alternative housing. Some are offering to pay for hotel rooms for the unsatisfied families to stay the night. A regional manager with the Radley told the complex that they were having issues with vendors. The painters and the cleaners did not complete their work as it was expected. Unknown, though, when these issues will be resolved. But can you imagine you're all in a great mood? I mean, again, it's a little scary when you've got the freshmen that, getting ready to get ready for an exciting year or years as they're coming back to school, and then you come up with something like that. Not good, right? All right. Hundreds of dog food being recalled over salmonella concerns. First, it's ours. Now it's for our furry friends. Oma's Pride announced one lot of Woof complete canine chicken recipe in 6-pound bags is being recalled. The lot was distributed in Arizona, California, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, New Jersey, Nevada, New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. About 639 bags affected. Anyone with an affected bag should stop feeding its contents to their dog and contact Oma's Pride for a refund. Not in Missouri or Illinois, but again, we've got friends in neighboring states and really actually more and more all across the U.S. that have a tendency to get a chance to watch our show and wake up to positivity. So again, if you have this Oma's Pride pet food canine chicken recipe, please do not give that to your pets. Well, a stubborn llama said, I'm not going anywhere, refusing the rescue from a national forest. Look at this guy. Authorities in Colorado responded to a call about an abandoned llama in the Roosevelt National Forest, found hitched to a tree, calmly just taking in the view. A deputy and her law enforcement horse were eventually able to get the llama to move about a mile down the trail, but at some point the llama made it clear she wasn't going to move any further. Food and water were left. The deputy decided to return the following day, and when they came back, the llama's owners were on the scene. They said that they couldn't get the llama to leave, so they left her there until they could come up with a way to get her down. After what was described as a laborious effort, the llama finally decided to leave the area with the owners. Just wanted to take it all in, right? It was just like, hey, leave me alone. And we have a baby in the news today that came a little early. You never know when that baby's going to come. A month early this time, just before the couple was getting to walk down the aisle. So they had their wedding, unfortunately, instead of a chapel, it took place at the hospital in front of a team of neonatal intensive care nurses. Their daughter's early arrival changed their travel plans. Now they're having to drive back to Kansas. But for now, they're just soaking in the moment. This happened, by the way, in Las Vegas, where they went to have a chapel wedding in Vegas. Didn't happen. Well, I mentioned if you are a golf fan, you already know about this. The BMW Championship kicking off this week. If you are headed to the championship, here's what you need to know. We like to do the news you can use. They have tomorrow and Wednesday practice rounds, gates opening at 7:30. There's also the Gardner Pro-Am Wednesday. Then Thursday through Sunday, the 4 tournament rounds, gates open at 8 a.m. Thursday, Friday at 7 a.m. 8 a.m. Thursday and Friday, 7 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. There will be street closures around Ladue Road, as well as Mason, Conway, Hibbler Road. So if you live in those areas and you're kind of used to this, but if you have people coming over to see you, pass that along to them. No parking, by the way, on the Belle Reve grounds. Parking for the practice and the tournament rounds is at the Family Arena in St. Charles, and they will shuttle you over there. Parking for opening drive was on St. Luke's Center Drive. Again, it's an exciting time if you have never been. I hope you had a chance to get tickets. Otherwise, you'll have to check to see if you can still go. All right, St. Louis Cardinals fans, what a big win yesterday. 11-4 against the Cubbies. Maybe you went to Chicago for the weekend. I know it's always a big rivalry, always a lot of fun. Today, it's the Cards and the Reds, 12:40 first pitch, and they will be taking on Cincinnati through tomorrow. They'll be playing at 5:40, as well as the Cardinals and the Reds continuing for the next few days in Cincinnati. All right, your National Day of Calendar, and here's what's on tap for you. I know a lot of people recently in like my social media feed are all going to these thrift shops. Well, today is National Thrift Shop Day, National I Love My Feet Day, National Nonprofit Day, National Pineapple Juice Day, and it is National Massachusetts Day. And then one more global observance for all of you that have cats. Do you have a black one? If you do, today is Black Cat Appreciation Day. And now Zach understands why I asked what color his cat was. He said his cat was gray. If you have a black one, though, have a little appreciation for him. All right, folks, that's how we do it. The first 15 minutes of the show, we get you all up to date in weather, news you can use, and sports news. And then we get a chance to get into our health news. And today, GLP-1s. I see a lot of you signing on Facebook, on Instagram, multiple platforms that we have for you that you can watch. Feel free to interact, ask any questions of our guest, Jenny Gabriel from JG Optimal Wellness. How do you best optimize the GLP-1 for your body? She'll talk about all that when we return.
Most places you walk into, you look around, you nod, not here. You could try anything. Woo! Only 3 minutes in here, I'm already gassed. Check this bad boy out. It's a swim spa. Let's go. This is called the Sweaty Goat. This is where I get my demons out. Whether it's a hot tub, a swim spa, a sauna, or a cold tub, you come in here and you could try it and you pick what you want. That's Spas and More STL. And tell them Cam sent you.
Welcome back. Thanks again for tuning in. If you're like me, everywhere you look on social media these days, everyone is talking about GLP-1s. Maybe you are on them. Maybe you are considering it. And today's show is really going to give you some education of what will happen when you do it. I do hope you do it followed by a physician. That's going to be the number one thing that I ask of you, not to just try to go to a website and buy it because you're trying to save money. In the long run, sometimes you wonder what's even in it. So make sure you are physician-led on that. All right, let me reintroduce our guest, or maybe it's the first time we're introducing you to her, Jenny Gabriel with JG Optimal Wellness. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you.
And why does it feel like it's been like 6 months?
I know. It hasn't, though. It hasn't.
No, I know. For all of you that do not know Jenny, here's all the information of how you can work with her. Jenny at jgoptimalwellness.com is her email address, and I actually gave that email address to a couple of friends and family members actually over the weekend. It was ironic that we were talking about this today, and they said, oh, I need to talk to Jenny because I don't know what I should be doing. I'm frustrated. I'm going through menopause. I was watching a movie last night. They were talking about perimenopause. I'm like, it's everywhere. It's in the movies. It's on your social media feed, jgoptimalwellness.com, and also on social media at JG Optimal Wellness. She's got a lot of years behind her with regards to how long she's been working in the industry with women, and she continues to get more and more. We have all these letters we keep putting behind her name. So today, Jenny, we are going to talk about GLP-1s, and you just shook your head when I said, please let it be physician-led, right? And you agree with that, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm just always fearful of people going, well, can I just buy this because it's cheaper?
Right. And cheaper isn't always better.
A lot of times it's not, right?
Exactly.
You don't know what you're getting.
Well, especially when you're putting something into your body, we need to know what that is.
Absolutely.
And we need to understand what to be looking for and what, what can be some of those reactions we can have as well.
Yeah, sure.
So education is key, especially when we're diving into something new like this. And it is fairly new. It's been out a few years, but it's really gaining a little bit more momentum because we're seeing a lot more research being done with this. We're getting data back from now, people being on them, like what the benefits are, what the benefits are not.
Sure.
And so it's about making sure that you're getting the knowledge right before you do something like that, because there's a lot more to it than just doing it.
Absolutely, but it's interesting of how long it actually, or they, because there's so many out there now, how long it actually has been around. I talked to a bunch of physicians, and they're like, Monica, this isn't new, and it's not new in the last few days or even in the last 6 years for those that have diabetes.
Correct.
Now it is everywhere you look. Every commercial I see is for a different GLP-1. And if you talk to some physicians, they're like, just wait, in the next 3 to 4 months and into January, more to come.
Correct.
Which the field is so huge that people, if you're not being followed by a physician, how do you even know what to take?
Exactly. And that's why it's key to be with someone that you trust and they're trustworthy. I can't stress that enough. And like why we're talking about this today is because I am behind the prescription.
Yeah.
So someone who is taking a GLP-1, thinking about taking a GLP-1 or trying to come off a GLP-1 is what we're going to dive into today, and why it's really important to really make sure that you're engaging with the other component that goes with this instead of making it a competition between GLP-1 usage and choosing nutrition. It's really, they two go together. They're very synergistic to each other.
What are your thoughts? Because if we went back, let's just say 2 years ago, because that's probably when I first started, 2-3 years ago, I first started hearing people talk about it. But back then, it's kind of like growing up, all I ever heard was my mom or my aunts or anybody around talking about, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. I wish there was a magic pill, right? Now everybody feels, Jenny, that this is the magic pill, and they just want to be done and not have to follow a healthy lifestyle. Some of them might, but they really do think, ooh, I see it happening for my friends, and they're losing weight, and they're losing muscle.
Yes.
That is the big thing that we're going to stress today.
Yes, we're really going to dive into that because there's more behind the weight loss. If someone comes to me and they're on GLP-1, I don't ask how much weight they lost. I want to know how they lost it. What is behind that, like in-body scans. And that's something, if you're going to a physician to get this is something they should be doing with you anyways, an in-body scan, because it's going to tell them the muscle, the lean tissue, it's going to tell you about fat, it's going to tell you about water, it's going to tell you about bone. It's going to factor all of those things in the in-body, and they should be taking that depending how long you're on it. I would venture to guess at least every 60 to 90 days. Just to have a good grasp on what's really happening, especially in the beginning. Someone has a lot of weight to lose. This is not an excuse, ladies, to just do this. And because I come from the menopausal, perimenopausal side, that's a big deal because we've already got a lot of chaos happening inside of the body. And then we add something else in. It's really, really important. And we'll get into that today about looking at how we feel, what is our energy level, are we feeling weaker? These are questions that we should be asking that are not being asked.
Let me ask this again. If you're just tuning in, feel free to drop a comment in, ask any questions while we're live. I know a lot of you more and more are rushing around as the kids are back to school or going back to school. So maybe you're catching bits and pieces of this, or throw your earbuds in as you're driving them into school. Maybe that way you don't have to listen to them while they're noise in the car. Listen to this, but then come back. And again, that's the beauty of streaming, that you can go back and listen to this later or watch it later. Share it also with all of your friends. So let me ask this, Jenny. If you could break it down percentage-wise, looking at the women that you've worked with, let's just take the last 5 years. What percentage would you say is using GLP-1s?
Towards the end of that?
Yeah.
A lot higher.
What do you think the percentage would be?
I would say at least 60 to 70%.
Wow. Okay.
And that's towards the end of that 5 years. So I'd say in the last 2 years, there's been a much more uptick in women coming to me that are on them.
Yeah.
Either because they've noticed they don't feel great, or they're now concerned about the nutrition thing, or they are like, I've got some stress, sleep issues. But the thing with this is, and I want to stress this today, is it's really important to engage in this in the beginning, not when you're ready to go into maintenance mode.
Yes.
Okay, when you're thinking about, or if you're a physician, again, I'm going to be really clear about this. I'm not someone that will diagnose that for somebody. I don't give GLP-1 medications. I refer these people out, right? Yeah. And so that's a physician-led thing.
It should be. We keep stressing
yes,
that.
and I can't stress that enough. Where my piece plugs into that, and we're talking about a lot again today, is that piece that they're going to need throughout the whole process, and that's like diving into getting to the root cause. If they're having weakness, if they're noticing that they're not hungry as often, and that's a big thing with this, because appetite. This helps with appetite suppression, and how we view food. Okay, and so it's really important. We're going to be eating less, but are we eating enough? Are we eating enough of the right things to maintain muscle energy into the cells? Because GLP-1s do not put energy into the cell. Okay, they don't do that. Food does that.
But let me ask this, because the biggest problem I've heard from a lot of people is, but Jenny, I'm not hungry, because the brain tells me that I don't need to be eating as much. And so I know you're asking me to eat, but I don't feel like eating. So do they need to put something in their calendar to have an alarm go off saying, I know you don't feel like it, but you need to get something in? And what does that something look like?
Well, typically I always lean really hard into protein off the bat, because that's something that's going to preserve the muscle mass. And especially women, even in the transition from perimenopause into postmenopause, we are starting to see that decline because of estrogen declining and the other hormones, progesterone, testosterone, but specifically estrogen. Muscle mass starts to decline anyway. Women don't do well, and we've talked about this a lot on the show, eating protein. So if we go into a situation where we're already not eating enough protein, and now we're doing a shot that's going to reduce our appetite, it goes back to that. The eating less is not going to supply the energy to the body. That's why a lot of these women, they come to me and they just don't feel well. I mean, it's because we're not fueling the body. And so protein needs to be a really major focus of that. My second to that would be fiber, making sure we're getting in those low glycemic carbohydrates that have a lot of great fiber potential to them, especially women in menopause.
Do you like the 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per body weight?
I do, except if somebody exercises a lot, and then we're going to go over that. Yep, 100%.
I mean, this is a wake-up call for so many people where
Yes.
they're like, wait, how much? Oh my gosh, I'm lucky if I get 30 to 50 grams.
Exactly.
That is the problem. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
So using the GLP-1s, again, if you are the missing piece for long-term success, that is what we're discussing for you this morning. So what do we not talk about? The unspoken reality. You're doing everything right, or so you think. But again, this is why you work with Jenny. This is why Jenny and you and a physician, you have a whole team that's working for you. So the scale is stuck, though. They're like, wait a minute, I'm on GLP-1s, Jenny. I'm listening to what you're saying. Why am I not changing? What's going on with my body chemistry?
Because losing weight is different than building a healthy, resilient body. And so we as women are super hyper focused on the scale. And I deal with this with clients all the time. And it's like, I'm not so much on the scale as I am about what are you eating?
Yes.
What are you putting in your body? And then, especially GLP-1, when it's so suppressed, I have women that are eating well under 1,200 calories, and we should never eat under that, ever. Even something that's sedentary, we do not want to eat underneath that. I really want women to figure out how to fuel, to feel fueled, to have the energy, to feel better. So when we start seeing that scale is not moving, because that's what we look at, it's the body adjusting. It's adapting to the changes that are being made. And no, like if we're losing lean muscle mass, we're declining our overall basal metabolic rate, which is our burn rate, right?
Well, right. And every
so we're
woman
suppressing that.
Every woman that you know says, oh my gosh, what I could do in my 30s and my 40s,
Yeah.
even when I got to 50.
Yeah.
Now I'm in my mid 50s, right?
Yeah.
When people that are in their 60s,
Yeah.
et cetera, they're all like, what's going on with my metabolism? And so this is a really good point that Stephanie just brought up. She said, I'm afraid of losing my hair because of this and the side effects.
Yes, and that's a nutrition. Great comment, Stephanie, because what is happening with this is because we're depleting the nutritional component, we're not getting the micronutrients that we need. We're not getting, again, the proteins that we need. These are key components. Hydration is another big one with this too, and it has all of those minerals in it, guys and gals. So it's really, really important to understand that, yes, being on a GLP-1 is a tool. It's not the long-term, unless it's somebody that's, on them for medical reasons, but we still need that foundational support that goes along with that, because it can't tell you when to eat protein. It can't tell you how to manage stress. It can't tell you when you need to be moving.
But I love the fact that you use the analogy of a tool. How many people do you know that build a house with one tool? There are many tools in the toolbox.
There are.
So you have to have the GLP-1s that you've decided or a doctor has decided for you to be on. Then you say, well, I have no clue how I should be eating. Enter in Jenny from the nutrition standpoint, and then look it's this beautiful marriage. The whole aspect of it's called an in-body scan. Look it up, right? So I know there are gyms that have that.
Oh, yeah.
I know there are supplement stores that you can go into. They'll do it for you. You don't need to buy one. Right? They're there for you so that you have that tool. But if you online are buying your GLP-1s and no one has ever told you what you're supposed to be doing on it, they don't weigh you, they haven't told you what's going on with your body chemistry, you are completely lost.
Right.
Please stop it. Just go and make sure that you find someone that will weigh you in. In fact, they should be doing it weekly.
Right.
Or at least once a month.
Yeah, and most of them will have you come in like every 30 days, and they'll do a weight checkpoint at that point too. They'll also be doing labs because they're looking at kidney and liver function. Those are all things that should be being done. And if they're not, then those are questions that I would suggest you be asking.
Or switch to someone else.
Yeah, or switch to somebody that you feel more comfortable with. But an in-body scan should be done at the beginning and a midpoint. And everybody's different how long they're on these for, or if they're on them long-term for medical reasons.
Yeah, but that's a point that just came up with someone. What if they've been on them for a while and their body's just stuck, or it is going the wrong way and they're starting to gain weight again? Would you think that the body has just become immune to it and they should ask questions about getting on a different one? Because now there are so many out there.
Yeah, that's something that would definitely be a doctor's question. If they're seeing that they're not getting the results or they're seeing a lot of changes, maybe even lab work that's looking unusual, those are questions you need to be asking your provider. That's not something I can answer. That's kind of out of my scope, but it would be something I'd say you definitely need to ask your provider those questions if they raise them.
Depending, again, you get on it and then it ramps up, and then at some point there's a maintenance, and you have to wrap your brain around the fact that this is supposed to be for life. This isn't something that you do for a little bit and then you're like, okay, got it. Now I'm going to get off of it. And then you're like, what happened? Now all this weight's coming back.
Right. And that is the research does show that can happen very easily. But if you have foundational, and not saying that if I give you all these lifestyle habits, it's still not going to happen. It's about having the foundation to go to, and that foundation should be along the whole journey. It's not a separate thing. It's not a thing you put at the very end. It's a, like I said, a synergy together when on those.
So we're talking about menopause and a lot of women saying, hey, I think this is a tool for me. I think this can help. Great. No, I hope that we've gotten past the shaming of people saying, oh, I'm on a GLP-1, or they didn't want to tell anybody.
I see it a lot, though. I think people
think it's there?
I think it's still there. I do. I think with some women, even men, it's still there. And some people are on them because they need to be. Other people are on them because they just need a bump start in their journey.
I know some physicians,
but there's stigma around it.
There was. I'm hoping it's getting better. I hope there's not this shaming that was going on, or the bullying, or I saw a lot of comments in the past that it was, you don't need to do that. Just work out and eat better. This is you're weak. And I'm like, okay, you don't know their background.
Everybody's body's different.
Yeah, thank you. You don't know their background. Rose, Jenny, what is? Okay, hold on.
Okay, no, that's good. Take a look at.
Too far away.
Take a look at.
What is in those GLP-1s that give them no appetite? One gal said that Food noise leaves her head. They were meant for diabetic people, correct? That's one. Julie says, that's me. I'm stuck on Wegovy on the highest dose. Okay, good. So before we continue with our slides, let's address both of those. Rose says, what is in them that says that they don't have an appetite because the food noise goes away for one of her friends? And she thought it was for diabetic people only.
No, and that's where, especially in a trizepatide form, semaglutide I see more. It's a GLP-1. It's more, we tend to see that more for people that are diabetic. Not that trizepatide isn't part of it. These peptides, guys, are coming out. So semaglutide is a single peptide GLP-1. Now you get into trizepatide, it's a dual. So it's got two peptides, a GLP-1 and a GIP. All of those, each of those are managing the signals to the brain and the suppression of the foods and the food noise. And it's different for each person, okay? And that's how, when you're working a physician, they're going to match you with the best option that would be available for that patient, right?
Well, it's just interesting of what the brain does, Rose, that it does shut that off. There's a lot of things. One, it tells you not to eat as much.
Right.
Two, it also has people say, I'm not even interested in
Well,
drinking
and some
alcohol
people
anymore.
will, yes, that is one thing. And you also see some people have aversion to certain foods. It will do that. It will do that with even sugar foods too.
It helps. The comment that your friend made about food noise, all that of eat this, eat sugar,
Right,
it
right.
does turn it down. And
Yes,
that's what they're
it does.
experiencing. Julie, yes, I've heard this from a lot of people. That's why I brought it up, that you are stuck. This is where I ask that you talk to your physician. So if you are on
Yes.
Wegovy and you're stuck on the highest dose and you've been on it for a long period of time, I would recommend that you go to them and say, well, I clearly know that there are a lot of options out there. Can't I get on another one? Because if you still have weight to lose and you are at that point where you're stuck, this is where the physician conversation needs to come into play, and that
Right.
they need to hear you on that.
Well, and I just have to iterate, not with specifically Julie, but just know that the GLP-1 is not supposed to be used that means you can eat whatever you want either.
Right.
Because that's not what the GLP-1 is for, okay? And we need to get over the stigma that once we get on it, we can eat still whatever we want. We don't have to change anything. If you're not eating great and you go on it, you just want to be able to keep eating crappy food, then
get
that's
sick,
the
won't
wrong
they?
thing. Yeah,
I've heard that, right?
Yeah, and it's the wrong thing to do. You're wasting money. It's like you talk about B vitamins. You
Yeah.
take too many vitamins, you
and
pee
you're
them out in
just
the
peeing it
stool. It's virtually the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, what's the
the-
point of it if you're not going to change some other things along the way with it?
So, Jenny, the people that I've heard that have had success with it follow it to a T. Okay,
Yep.
I'm finally going to do this. That's the right way to do it, by the
Yeah.
way. I'm finally going to do this because it's expensive. I mean, even if it's covered some portions by insurance from a
Right.
diabetics or a medical,
Right.
health standpoint,
Right.
it's still the fact that you are doing this. You are having a conscious effort to do it. So please follow everything so you can have success on it.
Yeah.
Don't do what Jenny was just saying, which is people believing that they can take it, eat whatever they want, because you are the ones that are having the worst side effects.
Exactly.
People are getting sick, they're
100%.
throwing up, they're like, I'm running to the bathroom. That's why, because the body's like, I can't take, no, I'm trying to help you with this and I can't take this. All right, we're going to take a break. Keep the comments and questions coming in. Menopause changing the rules, the hormones shifting, the metabolism adapting, the nervous system sensitivity increasing. We are talking about this today. Oh, Jenny, good comment coming in. We'll get to yours. Who else? All over our platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, Instagram. Feel free to comment now live, or if you watch this on repeat, please let us know when it's on replay. You have a question for her, we'll make sure you get to her, or just take it directly to her. Jenny at jgoptimalwellness.com. Don't go anywhere. Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. This is one of those shows that we could continue, and I know we're not going to have enough time today. I can already feel it, so I believe we may need to do a continuation. I know we have a plan already for next month, right? But we may need to continue this because there's a good, I'm all about pause, even what we're talking, pause and menopause.
Yeah, pause and menopause.
Whatever we're talking about, I want to make sure you are heard. Murr 2014 over Instagram says, Jenny helped get me to where I needed before starting GLP-1s. So grateful that I now focus on weightlifting and my nutrition, and my sleep is better quality. Hello, Amy. My brother's girlfriend our fiance is watching this morning. T. Matt just joining over on Instagram. Hey, any questions, any comments that you have? Jenny says, by far the hardest journey I've ever been on with a GLP-1. I've never had to work harder at food, water, and then deal with side effects. It's not an instant weight loss handout. Good comment, Jenny. And by the way, we miss you. We love you.
That's right.
Yes. So again, if you're just tuning in, menopause, GLP-1s, protein, fiber, all the things that she can help you with. That is why you do not try to do this alone, because it's one thing to say, okay, I'm making a choice, or I have a doctor that told me I need to be on this. Now it's a matter of what do I do with it? And this is where Jenny enters in, and this is where she really will thrive with you. So we are talking about the rules changing in menopause. What's the danger of just eating less?
Well, it's a cortisol issue, right? So it's going to cause that to spike, and then that messes totally with the metabolic function of the body and the cells. So when we're not eating enough, we're not already fueling the body, and then you throw in a GLP-1 that's going to suppress it further, then we're going to put ourselves in a state of a heightened cortisol level.
Because of that stress.
Right, the stress on the body, 100%.
Well, and you always talk about what stress is doing to us, right?
Yeah.
The cortisol, the belly fat. She has a page, by the way, on Facebook, the menopause, what is it? Secrets.
Menopause belly secrets.
That a lot of you have been in and getting information. But at the same time, it's one thing to be in that page and to have the community talking together, but it's still people saying, but I'm still stuck. Well, that's because, again, as she said, it's not cookie cutter. There's a reason why she works one-on-one with people. Or are you in like groups right now? I know the big thing you're doing is like a menopause audit.
Yeah, menopause nutrition audit. So like someone that wants to really know kind of what's just from a like 360 view, like taking a snapshot of like what their food looks like for 5 days, and then coming back with like, and they'll track it for 5 days, and then we look at symptoms, how it might correlate. We'll look at the, some major impacts maybe on sleep or stress, depending on what they come to me from. That audit's going to give them like a kind of a 360 view snapshot of some things they can put into play.
Yeah, we're always looking for the handbook of how we play the game, right? That's what she's doing with you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the energy drain. I'm going to say one of the things that I hear from a lot of clients that I've trained is, I'm really feeling better. I am doing what you and Jenny are talking about, but I have a problem with the fact that, I have no energy.
They're not eating enough.
Okay.
So the fuel's not there, especially if they're on a GLP-1. That's that suppression again of food. So again, that's where we're going to lead into making sure we've got those proteins on board. We're eating protein in every meal. We're making sure we have the fibers in there. We're making sure we're having the hydration in there. That's going to help support that dropping feeling that can occur on a GLP-1. That's when people come to me and say, I feel weaker. I'm tired. I'm not feeling as well. It's because we're undernourishing our body.
Well, and I like that slide because, yes, when they get on this and everything that they've seen promoted was, I'm going to look so much better.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel better. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to get rid of the food noise. This is the expectations that you're going to gain the energy and feel amazing. And you can when you follow what Jenny's talking about. But what's happening, she's saying, is you're under eating, blood sugar swings, then you have the afternoon crash, and you have the chronic fatigue, which she just said, if she hears that from you, then she knows, nope, you're getting close, maybe, but you're still under eating. Or maybe you're still not eating the right things.
Right, or not eating enough for the right things, and then we have to kind of look at timing and that type of thing of the foods.
So we mentioned in-body scans. That gives you the whole breakdown of what really is happening, and it should be done hopefully on a regular basis.
Right.
Because one of the biggest things that you probably hear in the news from us all the time is, are you losing muscle?
Right, and that's a big deal. So I would say that's one of the most things that I'm most passionate about with working with women is muscle loss, because we already tend to lean into that, a term called scarcopenia that can happen through postmenopause where we have muscle loss. Now, with the GLP-1, GIPs, all of those, whether it's a single, double, or triple, which is coming out the first of the year likely, peptide, muscle wasting is a part of this if we do not fuel accordingly. So when you're suppressing the appetite, calming the food noise, this can become the perfect storm for this to escalate in menopause
Yep.
if
And
we
you-
don't address it on the front end.
Absolutely. We want you to preserve that important muscle to help you with your fuel, to help you with your energy, for you to just do day to day. We haven't even gotten into the people who work out.
Right,
Who,
right.
And you all should be
Right.
with this.
Right.
It shouldn't
Oh,
just
yeah.
be okay, as we said, I'm just going to take this. Okay, maybe I'll kind of eat the way I'm supposed to be eating, but I don't want to do the exercise. Well,
Well, that's a big part of it.
exactly.
Weight training is a part of it.
The muscle versus fat dilemma. So the metabolism, losing fat, protecting the resting burn rate. Losing muscle destroys the resting burn rate. Losing fat, strong and capable. Losing muscle, you are easily fatigued and feel weak.
Right.
Losing fat is sustainable. Losing the muscle, guaranteeing that rebound of the weight gain, which we mentioned. At the same time, all of you that think that you can get off of it and that you're trying to play the game of, I don't need to do it anymore.
Right.
I lost what I want, but what's
Right.
going to happen? So double threat to your muscle.
Yeah. So, what is happening here is when we're not eating enough and we are on a GLP-1, suppression is happening, we become very vulnerable at losing the lean muscle. Okay. Because we're already in that decline. So, that's kind of already happening at that age, especially through and after menopause. So, when someone loses a significant amount of body weight, whether through medication, bariatric surgeries, dieting, any type of thing like that, some lean muscle mass can be lost along the way. And that's just kind of common for that to happen. So I'm not just looking at, did you lose 25 pounds? I'm looking, what did
in
you
that?
lose?
Yeah.
What did you lose in that? That's where the in-body comes in. That's where we're looking at bone density. We're looking at muscle mass. We're looking at water retention. We're looking at the tissues themselves. We're looking at, how equally across the body. And normally it looks at right and left side. So specifically, and it looks at body parts on the scan, like where it's losing, where you've gained. And when I say gain, don't think of it as weight gain, thinking of muscle gain if we're supporting that like we should be. So we need to be focusing on not just reaching the scale weight, but making sure we're reaching a very vibrant, healthy body in the process of that.
Right, because
and that's key.
You want someone to look at the entire picture of their life, not
Right.
a short time period.
Right. We're looking at 5-10 years down the road, where we want to be, always looking at that instead of just like being very short-sighted at, okay, I want to make it and get this size by a certain date, whether it's a class reunion or a wedding or some big event or some big trip we're taking. Look past that goal because that's the problem a little bit with these, because they're coined a quick fix by some people. We need to look long term with this, because what we do now impacts what we do later.
Sure. I actually love that there's a physician I spoke with about a year and a half ago, and he said, I will not. And I love this. This is his pride. He will not work with someone who's trying to lose that extra 5 or 10 pounds. And he's like, no, I know that mindset. And he's like, there are many other routes that someone can go for that. And I was like, I just want to stand up and applaud him. He's like, well, he goes, they can go elsewhere. They can buy it online, but I will not be one of those physicians. He's like, this is about health. This is about someone who has, diabetes or another medical condition. So the support of physicians and someone who works in the nutrition field before you restrict. There's many routes that people can go before they go to this. I think a lot of times it's just, this is the first decision that they make. So
Right.
let's
For
talk
sure.
about building your metabolic stability. Break this one down for us.
Okay, so what I'm looking at here is like building the strength. We're looking at muscle, maintaining the muscle mass. We want to work on that. We want to work on the sleep pattern with that too, because that impacts that. And we want to work on stress management too, because that all impacts that same metabolic stability. So as we're working and using these tools, I'm going to call it a tool because that's what it really is. We bring in the foundational support around that so that the metabolic stability stays there instead of losing it.
Right.
And it can be lost in this process if we don't really focus on making sure we have the right support in the right places with it.
And again, you're looking at this as, and some of you may have just gotten on it here in the last month. Maybe you're making the decision right now. Maybe this is your week that you're going to sit down, and this is for us to kind of paint the picture of what's coming. So let's look at the crossroads. If you stay on GLP-1s,
Yeah.
which again, as I mentioned, some of you are going to wrap your brain around the fact that this is your life.
Right. And I think, again, this goes back to if you're staying on it for the purpose of so you can eat whatever you want, I have to argue the opposite of that, because you're doing your body a great injustice if that's the only reason that you're choosing to stay on them.
Yes.
You know, if you're staying on them for a medical concern, or you have still an inflammation issue going on, you still don't have a real good grip on the foundational pieces, but you're working on them. But when you're eating less and what you eat matters, this becomes an even bigger picture, right? And that's why we really lean in. So thinking of protein, we're thinking of fiber, we're thinking of micronutrients, we're thinking of all the muscle, the bone health, especially women in menopause, and strength. And I'm looking at the whole woman from a holistic point. And like I said, I'm the person behind the prescription supporting the woman through the process, okay? I want to know, how are you sleeping? You know, how's your digestion? Because that can be impaired through this process. Do you have energy? Are you having those slumps? Are you maintaining strength, or do you feel weaker? These are questions you need to ask yourself. And how is your relationship with food along this process?
I like these two slides. The first one, again, that Zach was showing about if you stay on it, because it says to maximize the medication's benefits while protecting your metabolic engine from damage. That's the pathway that you are on, the journey that you're on. Without deliberate lifestyle coaching, that muscle loss, though, is inevitable. And I hope we can stress this, that you have heard that over and over again. The medication suppressing your appetite, making it harder, though, to get adequate protein, but you need to make that effort. You need to, if you keep saying, this isn't working, look at it week by week, have someone, again, hopefully following you on it, and then they'll say, nope, you still haven't reached that goal. Jenny would know, nope, you're not there yet.
Right.
You're getting close, but you're not there yet. So what if someone decides to stop?
Well, this is where I go again and say that's between them and their provider, because that's not a simple thing. You just don't go one day and you're like, okay, I'm done with these. There's a process they have to go through with their physician to come down off of these medications. And so I think it's really important to separate that from me and them. What I will do and what I say is, don't wait until the day you stop the medication to think about the foundational part of it.
Because one of the parts
The
in
maintenance part.
that middle part of that slide, I think, is very important, that if you do decide to stop, if the muscle was lost, listen closely. Your metabolism is now even slower than when you started on it. Now you're really frustrated.
Right.
This is why this isn't just a short term, oh, it's for a wedding. Oh, a wedding's coming up. Oh, as you said, there's a vacation coming up. This is a lifestyle choice.
Right.
This isn't a quick fix. By the way, Stephanie, pills, yes. She said, does it come in a pill form or just a shot? There are many out there, and some of them are.
Yeah, the pill form is new. Yeah.
And what do you hear from physicians?
Well, what I'm hearing is it's a lot. It's not as effective as the injection. It takes a little bit longer, and people kind of get frustrated with that. Again, it's all in that new developmental, we're looking at this now like we were when they started doing the injections, which I'm sure at some point this will just keep improving. I do think, too, you have to take those more often than you do with the injection.
You do. And I will tell you from physicians that I greatly respect, they still believe that the injection is the best. I've also heard from the majority of them that they believe that it is still tirzepatide that is the highest. But again, you got to find with the physician.
Right.
I'm not a doctor. She's not a doctor.
Right.
You got to find what works.
Right.
So your goal, whether they stay on it or eventually stop, is to help each and every one of you build a healthier body, supporting your weight loss for years and years to come. That is the goal for every one of her clients. So give us the bottom line here.
Well, I think the bottom line is it's a personal choice, but don't go on something like this without sitting down and having that conversation with your healthcare provider. But I also want to stress is that I work on the part that is often isn't getting enough attention with this. And it's a very, to me, it's a key component to this. I'm working on the woman behind the prescription. So we're working on the nutritional, the metabolic side, and the lifestyle standpoint. So as her body is already changing through all of those aspects, we're walking alongside that process as she's, implementing a new tool to her system. But I would suggest sit down, ask the right questions. You can gather information just from what we've talked about here to give you questions to ask. Just go in very educated with that, because if you're only going to get one part of this, and the part that I've been talking about today that is really key and a big part of this process, that's the gap I fill, and that gap isn't being filled.
Right.
99.9% of the time, the women that come to me, that gap is not being addressed.
Yeah, I would say if
to
we
help
were,
them improve, get better results even on them.
and that's the long-term goal. If we were in a room of men and women, I don't want men to be excluded from this. I don't believe that there would be a high percentage of people saying, "Yep, I'm doing everything I should be doing."
Right. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's change that narrative, though.
Yeah.
Let's start getting more of you. A year from now, we revisit this and we hear more success stories, because people get I've got to take my own responsibility for this. I need to clean up the way I'm eating. I need to eat more protein. I need to listen to what Jenny's saying and change your entire lifestyle. Let that be a component to help you, right?
Right.
Let that be
Right.
that tool.
Right.
So that's the bottom line. Again, we're hoping to get you better sleep. We're hoping that you don't get all those side effects because you're trying to eat all the fat and the junk food and the processed food. So you're eating the protein to help build that muscle and to speed up that metabolism and to keep it going. So
Right.
I love this. You deserve more than weight loss. They deserve
Yeah.
to feel strong.
They deserve to feel stronger. They deserve to feel better. They deserve to feel supported. They deserve to be nourished. They deserve to understand better what protein and muscle is. They deserve to know how to navigate when their body's stressed and when they haven't slept well, how to navigate that. And then when hunger changes, how to address that when that happens. Regardless, my goal is for the woman to remain, whoever remains on the medication or eventually wants to come off of it, that the provider, and myself are making sure that she understands her body through the process, because that is such an important aspect of this.
So,
instead of hyper focusing on scale results.
Oh boy, we've been trying to break that for decades.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, folks, I hope that you have a journal, and I hope that today you start writing down what you absorbed from today's show, the important key factors. Go back, listen to it again, write more down, take it in as you are on this journey. And we applaud you, by the way.
Right.
I do not at all
100%.
shame. In fact, I'm going to tell you, I am really hoping that we get this started soon, but on a Medical Monday, or on many Medical Mondays, I am hoping that we break down why so many physicians are now saying that they want all of their patients to be on GLP-1s. Why would that statement be made in the medical world? That is the biggest thing that I want to go over, and we are discussing starting that. Thank you. You answered my questions. You're welcome, of course, Stephanie. No problem at all. So now it becomes her working with you and helping you. Shoot her an email, Jenny at jgoptimalwellness.com. Follow her on social media at jgoptimalwellness as well. Rose just said thank you, Jenny, of course. Any of you that didn't get a chance to get your question answered, you can reach out to Jenny directly, or you can make a comment. I'll make sure that she sees it in the comment section of whatever platform that you're watching on. So what do you feel? Overeating today? I do. Look, I'm not even giving you a choice.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Our
That's
devotionals
about-
at the end of the show, by the way, if you're new to the show, we do a devotional, 100 Days to Freedom, trying to break you from certain things that you feel like, again, maybe anger and depression and shame and all of those, fear and anxiety, all those things lead in together, but a lot of times it turns to an addiction, and many times, unfortunately, it's related to food. So we're going to get into that for sure. Next month, what were we wanting to discuss next month? Do you remember?
I thought it was a more continuation of GLP-1.
Well, we've got more questions that are loaded up. How do hormones, insulin sensitivity, and muscle mass interact during menopause? I want to hang on to that one.
Okay.
I also want to break down, because I told Jenny I was going to be really raw and real about it, and I don't know. I am considering doing genetic testing
Yeah.
which is something we've been discussing. I told her though that she's like, do you want to talk about it? I do. I didn't want to do it today, but I do want to break down. I first of all had to ask for it, which I thought it was past the 90 day window, but I've got it all for Jenny to look at.
Awesome.
My own numbers, and I'm going to show that to you the next time we're on together. I think it's important that we break it down. We're going to have you on. We're going to have Jenny and Dr. Tish Singer. We're going to talk about, which I love that I'm seeing more of this, instead of mammograms, people looking into thermography, which you saw me do back in April, or March or April. Now we're going to talk about doing ultrasounds.
Yeah.
Instead of the radiation.
Yeah.
So Shiro Imaging, she will be on. Dr. Tish Singer will be on in the first half of the hour. Then Jenny and I will be on, and maybe we go a little bit deeper into this since you're on that second part that I can kind of go. You have to make sure you don't have somebody right after 8 o'clock.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we can go
Yeah.
into that.
I'll make sure of that.
So folks, I hope you understand now. Nutrition, protein, lifestyle change. That's what Jenny will work with you on. Again, reach out to her, Jenny at jgoptimalwellness.com. All right, we're going to break you from this. Freedom from overeating. Coming up next.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
What a great show, right? So much to absorb. And for some of you, it's a little overwhelming. That's why you go back and you don't just listen and not listen again and again, okay? So maybe you watched. Throw those earbuds in. Do your exercise. It's not going to be 110 degrees, by the way. So get outside. Movement is key, and then fueling that body. So we felt the overeating, freedom from overeating. Whose opinion are you seeking? This is day 41. The Lord said to Samuel, don't judge by his appearance or height, for I have rejected him. The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7, by the way. When we begin to examine our motivations for wanting to stop overeating, lose weight, start exercising, it's important that we take a look at whose good opinion we are searching for, or whose opinion we hope to influence by our behavior change. While society judges people by their outward appearance, God makes it very clear to us, as he did to the prophet Samuel, that he sees our hearts and knows our true motives. He sees beyond the scale, our size, our past. He loves us, wants our hearts to walk in the freedom that comes from caring only by what he thinks, not what the world thinks. If we focus on the approval of the culture around us, we will never arrive at a truly fulfilling and satisfying place. Our happiness will always depend on someone else's response or opinion. I just gotta chill. That is so key. I'm gonna repeat it. Your happiness does not depend on someone else's response or opinion. Please don't give them power. We want God to see what's in our heart and the love we have for him there. Seek out Jesus more and more. Replace the addictions, the time. I love this. I heard a pastor say it yesterday. The time that you spend on the endless scrolling or the binge watching or, as he said, pornography, alcohol, whatever the addiction may be. Replace that time with seeking out Jesus. Watch what happens to your life. Today's prayer: Dear Lord, I ask to only have eyes for you and your approval. I pray that as I walk, I seek you and you alone, that I may find out what pleases you. Thank you in advance for equipping me with the tools. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Good one. Whose opinion are you seeking? The only one that matters is him and you, not anybody else's. Please do it for the right reasons. Well, tomorrow we have a really powerful Testament Tuesday. It's actually a gentleman that Monica, who owns Coconut Grove Boutique in Washington, Missouri, turned us on to. She bought her vehicle from this man that works at a BMW dealership here in town. And she's like, Monica, I can't wait for you to hear his story. What he overcame. Again, the influence of others and how it can take you on a great path or a horrible one. He was, in most people's minds, destined to be that path. Boy, what a path he has walked. I can't wait to tell his story tomorrow. I just got to chill knowing how far he has come in life. So Wait for that. Testament Tuesday on tap for tomorrow. By the way, anybody that wants to know about a particular guest that we're going to have on, how we get those, sometimes it's from you. So reach out to us at info@therealmonicaadams.com. One more time, thank you to all of our sponsors. We have more and more that have come on board. One of the latest is R.A. Ginner Plumbing. We're thrilled to have you along with us. And so I know a lot of times we think, oh my gosh, I need a plumber. Oh, that's right. Who did Monica say we should go to? This. Over 100 years, when you talk about a company that knows what they're doing, they do. R.A. Ginner Plumbing Company. Go to GinnerPlumbing.com. I saw somebody last time we were on say, oh, wait a minute, they came to my house. Yep, I love that. Hey, not only your house, they came right here to Adventure Unknown. I took that video last week as we're doing this expansion, and they are actually here working with us. So thanks, guys. Very knowledgeable, very classy, and one thing that everybody is always saying, do they clean up afterwards? Yes, spotless, and that's a very important thing. So thank you so much for being a part of us. We also have Dr. James Clarkson, who just joined this month with Heritage Hand Surgery, and he's in Michigan, a brand new physician that joins us on Medical Mondays, and he will be back on with us, by the way, next Monday. Of course, our studios brought to you by our dear friends at Kaufman Outdoors in Sullivan and The Porch in Wildwood. As I mentioned, you could be a part of the growing list of sponsors, so let me know. Just shoot me a message, and we'd love to put you along with it as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of the show. Again, Testament Tuesday on tap tomorrow. From now till then, go out, believe in yourself. That is the greatest thing that can happen in life. Believe, don't give that power to anybody else. Be whatever you want to be, but the greatest be is kind. Be kind and God bless.
The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Kaufman Outdoors and The Porch in Wildwood.